going to get hit by the car passing that didn't see this happen. That's still driving on this highway. So being able to take a second to yourself and recognize the physiologic response to stress and to this emergent situation, and walk with a purpose over to that scene, being cognizant of your surroundings, I think that will do the most for people. That doesn't mean that you're going to find every threat. That doesn't mean you're not, you didn't miss that power line over that car that's going to electrocute you. There's still risk, but at least you're going into it eyes wide open and you have an idea of what you're walking into. So just taking a breath, slowing yourself down, not panicking. And even if you feel panicked on the inside, presenting yourself as calm, cool, and collected, because that's kind of a reverse feedback loop. Is if you present yourself that way, you're gonna start feeling that way, or at least a little bit more, and that's huge. It only takes one person on scene panicking to derail everybody, and to start that cycle of panic. And it's a bad cycle to get in because it's not going to get you where you need to be on that scene.
But that's a great answer because, I'm sure we've all been in situations where somebody's fallen on a swing set and they've knocked themselves unconscious, and all the friends are crying and screaming, and suddenly the mom runs out and doesn't notice and trips over something, and it's like, it's one of those kind of situations. It's like, a lot of people just immediately see the thing and, like you're saying, the zombie straight into it, and they don't immediately stop and go, is there like a chance of being electrocuted? Is there this? Is there that? And yeah, it's great to have the training, but for most people, they don't know, and it's the emotions, the adrenaline. So I love systems. I love having a way to kind of making not a to-do list, but actually like an acronym or a way to look at things. I think is it the March system? MARCHE? Is
Yeah,
that
so that's just one mode of assessment, the March algorithm they call it, which is kind of going through an assessment pathway to address life threats in the order they matter most. So there's a lot of different uh, algorithms that you can go through. I was taught ABCDE. Was the initial one in EMS. Now a lot of people are taking on March, which originated in the military and in conflict zones. There's all sorts. There's CAB, which was taught as CPR, or in CPR for AHA for a long time. And essentially what these are is these look at your hard stop life threats. These are your next, what's going to kill your patient in the next 3 to 5 minutes.
okay?
And it's the order that makes the most sense to intervene. So in March, when we start with M, that stands for massive hemorrhage. Well, unless you're insanely prepared and you have some, blood products in your back pocket, which you don't, you need to address that bleeding because we can't put blood back in the body. So it doesn't matter if they're breathing, if they have nothing to circulate that oxygen around their body. So we look at March and we say, hey, M, that's my most important intervention. I need to stop any external bleeding that I can, because that's going to kill this patient and I can't make up time. If they're without a pulse for just a little bit longer, it's probably not going to be as detrimental if they lose another liter of blood out of that leg gash or something like that. So we look at March 1st. Now, in a tactical environment, massive hemorrhage is really one of the only things you're addressing if you're in like an active threat area. You're not like kneeling down in the middle of a battlefield doing it, but if you have a second, getting a tourniquet on somebody, packing a wound, like that can be done in the M portion of it. Now we move on to A, which is going to be your airway. And that's just ensuring, so MA, that's ensuring that you have a good communication of air from the mouth or nose to the lungs.